One of the things that you said now that, you itemize the selfishness of most individuals, you mentioned politicians, but perhaps there's another line of people that one should give a bit of attention to. One of the issues raised by INEC for postponing the elections was logistics, and the tremendous logistics that go into this. I'm sure do you think that logistically the people who are in charge of this logistics things are good enough now? There are so many things to move, so many companies, and some of them who may not be able to deliver optimally. Do you have any fears about that?
Well, we must first of all, as a preamble to that statement, establish that our elections are too cumbersome. I've been in Ghana where elections are conducted, and they don't close down everywhere. All right, so we must begin to look for a style, a way where elections can be held, and then we can still continue with our normal life. They're too cumbersome and too heavy. So when you talk about logistics, it's omnibus. You can't put your hand to it. In fact, logistics now has replaced miscellaneous. When you draw financial budget at that time, what you put was miscellaneous. You account for certain money. Now when you get to the other, you put logistics, because it's difficult to define what logistics is. But then I began by saying that INEC doesn't have its own aeroplanes. INEC must depend on Nigerian Air Force and some commercial planes. So if, for instance...
And private companies.
And private companies. If, for instance, people want to sabotage INEC, they can sabotage the efforts of INEC. Because INEC does not have its own aeroplane. INEC does not have its own police. The man who stands behind the INEC chairman is a police officer who was sent to the INEC chairman from the office of the IG of police. He doesn't have his own private police.
Didn't they consider all of those before they told us that they were ready?
Well, the reality is that, like I said, when a woman says that she is ready, for instance, telling the husband that she's ready to get pregnant, it doesn't mean that the husband is potent enough to deliver. So it's multi-sectoral. INEC is not the only person that is involved. I'm sure that what INEC did, and I'm not holding brief for INEC. I had also given INEC notes for waiting to 3 a.m.
Yeah, but if we go by your submission, it may then mean that, well, come Saturday, elections may or may not hold.
Well, by what INEC did was to say, give us some time. From what had happened, it appeared like ballot papers had been delivered to the majority of the states. And INEC said, by their explanation, if we went on with that election, it was likely we were going to have staggered elections. So INEC said, we do not want staggered elections. We want to have a holistic election, which for us was a welcome development. Because staggered elections, in most times, have been the most controversial elections. Because what happens is that a zone is militarized. But when you have an election across the board, I'm in my state. So if I'm chairman of a party, I can't go to Osun State. I can't go to Ekiti. I'm in my state, manning my own polling unit and attempting to deliver my word and my unit. So everybody minds their business, and it is healthy. So INEC said, we don't want to go into staggered election that is subject to manipulation. Let's have general elections. So for those who are crying that INEC shouldn't have postponed that election or rescheduled the election in the face of INEC's unreadiness to conduct a holistic election.
Again, which is what they told us.
Say that again?
That wasn't what INEC said to Nigerians at the time. They repeatedly. So how were Nigerians supposed to have known that they were not ready? It was much later during the explanation that it then turned out that we couldn't do this and that at the time. But hours before that time, they again repeatedly said, we were ready. I
listened to the chairman of INEC, where he said that up until even the night, before the next morning, they considered that they were ready. But then you have people operating on the field who are telling you.
Those are the people that I was talking about, who could frustrate things.
Well, you see, elections are, what INEC is saying in this essence is the fact that, look, for instance, in Edo State, result sheet was said to have been delivered to Delta State instead of Edo State. So I think INEC looked at it. And I'm not an INEC staff. I'm also telling you what we have gathered on the field. To say, look, we are ready substantially, but everybody hasn't received the delivery of their sensitive and non-sensitive materials. So INEC said, give us 1 more week. So we would assume that if you were 70% ready, and you have 7 more days to go, we'll assume that INEC should have done everything. And if what INEC is saying anything to go by, the reconfiguration of the smart card is at 100% ready. So it looks like INEC, given any last-minute changes, it looks like INEC is ready for Saturday's, at least, so I hope.
Okay, now, because he also said, look, that moving forward, we need to have a conversation about election management in this country. So what will your recommendations be?
My recommendations are what somebody has said on this same platform before. I can use my ATM anywhere. We must consider full-blown electronic voting.
After all, the PVCs have chips in them.
Look, we have in this country, you have national ID card, you have driver's license, you have PVC, you have BVC. If we list them, we'll probably even enter into some that sound like name of companies. Why can't we harmonize everything so that you have just one? I haven't had anybody come to say, for instance, that except my ATM card was stolen. I haven't had anybody come to say that they were able to hack into an ATM machine or into that network and then they stole people's money. I haven't heard it, except maybe your ATM card. So it looks like that arrangement appears to be foolproof in terms of hacking. We need to move away from moving of paper. Anyway, who does hard copy these days anyway? I mean, somebody wants to communicate to you, say, you know what, give me a soft copy of whatever it is. So we need to also begin to look at this manual movement of things. Like you go to some government offices, you'd amazing to see that you are seeing manual typewriter in government office in 21st century. I mean, we need to consider full-blown electronic voting so that the issues of logistics can reduce.
Omako does hard copy, if I remember, but but you know,
she'll come with you on that.
No pun intended, actually. But you know, on that particular day now, because you at some point you made reference to those who had left their areas to go back and vote. Is there really going to be apathy? Because the percentage of those who may not eventually come back and vote on that day may be minimal compared to those who really are riled up, just ready to go out there and vote, you think?
You know, again, an unfortunate development is that our electoral law says you vote where you register.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
But you can transfer your vote.
Yeah, but...
I mean, your
PVC. Yeah, but before you do that, it has its own processes. So why should I live in Benin, in Lagos State, and then I'm voting in Benin?
Okay.
And not just in Benin, but also in the village.
We need to go to break, but we'll come back to that point in a moment. Stay with us. So you still think that there will be apathy compared to the hype that's been out there?
You know, 2 things have happened. The elections have been rescheduled.
Yeah.
That in itself will cause some apathy. People took whatever leave they took to go and vote. Are you going to go back and tell your guy that you want to go back to vote?
Even if it's
public holiday tomorrow.
No, but the question you're asking yourself, okay, people who move from Kano to the east to go vote, are they going to go back to Kano and then come back to the east? So clearly, the rescheduling of the election will cause some voter apathy. Whether it is designed for a purpose, we are going to see by the day after tomorrow. But the statement about the involvement of security agencies, which ostensibly the army has decided to, if you like, take personal, is also going to scare certain people. Because if you look at elections, really, people, I've monitored several elections. I have never seen a police officer with a gun. And most elections are held in fenced schools. So are the security agents now going to enter into the premises? Because the law says that those who are responsible, the police officers who work on that day, should not carry, weapons. So all of this ambiguity and uncertainness, clearly, we all don't have the same lever. Some people are just going to say, look, you know what, South Nigeria is not by force, so let me just stay in my house. And people are going to say that. But it is the responsibility of INEC and Mr. President and the military, well, especially Mr. President, between now and Saturday, to disabuse the minds of people, to say, look, this is not what I mean. Let's be clear.
You mean he should come out and say that and redress his earlier comment?
No, he may not even redress his earlier comment. He may make a fresh comment that overrides his earlier comment, or that punctures the tension in the air, that also subject the earlier comment to multiple, interpretations, because it is what the president said last that people take into cognizance, not what he said before.
Looking at all of this, could you hazard a guess in terms of whoever loses, because somebody has to win, somebody has to lose? How would they respond to it?
The credibility of this election, we have already set a template for serious after-election crisis. It's a template for it. Because whichever way it goes now, somebody is going to say, this is why I lost. We have given people standby reasons. It's like keeping a goat with a hyena. It's just a matter of time before it attacks it. Now, so we have given people a reason to say, you know what, what did you expect from it? Even those who support Party A or Party B, if they lose, they're going to say, why won't you lose? When the national chairman of XYZ party has said that INEC is, biased, why won't we lose? When the president said XY. So we're given a template for a crisis after, the election. And I don't know if we understand the ramifications of the statements that we make, all because we want to win an election at all costs. It's pitiable.
Olo Martins is the ED canvassers for electoral democracy and the rule of law.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for coming on as well. Well, that's the show today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
I'm Gimba Umar.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a wonderful day.
At that one on hard copy slide. Well, thank you for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun Yusuf.
Are those of the maker and do not reflect the views, opinions, and endorsement of Channels Television.